What's up, Glam Squad? It's Johanna with God is Glamorous, where we learn how to live our best lives through Jesus Christ. And today, we are going to be learning how to embrace our single season. So there is no question that we live in a world where getting married and getting engaged and having a husband and having kids and being a wife is glamorized, and oftentimes we can get so caught up with feeling as though our worth is determined by the ring that we have on our finger, and that is not the case, ladies. So your value is immeasurable, and it even says that you are far more precious than rubies. That is exactly how God feels about you, and I want to encourage you that while you are in your single season, this is a precious and beautiful time and an actual gift from God, so that you are able to work on yourself and you are able to just become the woman that God has called you to be. So without further ado, let's learn how we're able to embrace our single season. All right, so for those of you who have never heard about the story of Ruth, it is such a beautiful love story between Ruth and Boaz. But the story starts off in Bethlehem with Naomi, who is Ruth's mother-in-law. They haven't actually met yet. But Naomi and her husband, as well as her two sons, travel from Bethlehem to the country of Moab because there's a famine and they need to relocate to a better place to live. So during this time, Naomi's sons find two Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, and they become married. But fast forward, unfortunately, Naomi's husband as well as her two sons pass away. The Bible isn't actually clear on how or why they passed away. But during this time, Naomi feels as though that because she has nothing left, she wants to return back to her hometown of Bethlehem. And she encourages Orpah and Ruth to go back to their families because she essentially feels as though she has nothing left to offer them. So Orpah is going back to her family. However, Ruth decides that she wants to cling to Naomi. So it says in Ruth chapter 1, verse 16, but Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." That last part is really, really beautiful. She says, your God will be my God. And ladies, this is exactly how we should be as Christian women. So Ruth decides that she wants to get rid of all her gods, all her idols, and she wants to end up following the one true God, the God of Israel. So it's really important that during our single season that we are constantly putting God first. Being single is a gift, and during this gift of singleness, we should be learning how to put God first in everything that we do. Our faith should be growing stronger, our trust should be growing stronger, and this is the time to truly be able to connect and grow closer to God. Also, before God allows us to meet our potential husband, God wants to see whether or not he can trust us. God wants to see if we can put God first in everything that we do, because why would God lead you to your husband if you're just going to make an idol or a god out of your husband? So in today's society, it's very common for women to place their husbands or their boyfriends or their fiancés on a pedestal and essentially make them their idol. And God doesn't want that. God is a jealous God, and God wants all of your attention first. And everything else should fall second, because it says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, to seek God's kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things, all other things will be added to you. So before God is going to lead you to your husband, God wants to know that you will put God first. And when you do that, everything else is going to fall into place. All right, so ladies, after you begin to put God first, it is now time to get to work. So before Ruth meets her Boaz, guess what she's doing? She is working. She is working in the field. She is staying busy. And again, I say singleness is a gift because you have all this amazing and precious time to really work on your craft and to really hone on your gift. And being single allows you to have that opportunity to pursue your dreams and to pursue your passions. So when Naomi and Ruth get to Bethlehem, Ruth decides that she wants to work in the field. So in Ruth chapter 2, verse 2, and Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor." Naomi said to her, "Go ahead, my daughter." So as you can see, before Ruth even meets her Boaz, she's working in the field. She is staying busy. And we should be a lot like Ruth. Before we even decide that we want to find a husband or a boyfriend or fiance or whatever, start working on yourself. What are some goals that you haven't accomplished? What are some dreams that you want to see become a reality? Before you even decide that you want to get into a relationship, work on yourself first, because you need to be sure that you are whole within yourself and that you aren't pouring from an empty cup. So I encourage you to get busy and start hustling and start working on your own dreams, because once you get busy working in your own field, that's when it's more likely that your Boaz will come. All right, ladies, so after you have number 1, put God first. After you have number 2, begin working on your own goals and your own dreams. Now, when it's finally time for you to become ready to date, this is when you position yourself, but not pursue. And this is exactly what Ruth does. She's ready to get out there, but she's not chasing anybody. She positions herself strategically to get noticed. However, she doesn't pursue. She waits for Boaz to notice her. So it says in Ruth chapter 2, verse 3, so she went out, entered a field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. So, Elimelech is actually Naomi's husband who passed away, but Boaz is a relative of Elimelech. So during this time, Ruth is busy working in the field, and guess who notices her? Boaz. So in Ruth chapter 2, verse 5, it says, Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, who does that young woman belong to? As you can see, Ruth is in the field working on her own goals, working on the things that matter to her, and that's when Boaz notices her. But also, while she's ready to put herself out there, she positions herself. So when you're ready to begin dating, make sure that you position yourself to be found, but you're not chasing. And one of the things that Boaz did was he made it known to Ruth that he was interested in her. And this is what he does. So Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. So I love this because number 1, Ruth is working when Boaz notices her. But while she's working, she positions herself to be found. And when she positions herself, that's when Boaz takes notice of her. And that's when Boaz approaches her and lets it be known to Ruth that he's interested in her. So ladies, when you position yourself to be found and someone takes notice of you, pay attention to how they treat you. Do they make you feel wanted? Do they make you feel like they want you to be around? Boaz made it known to her that he wants her to be around. He says, stay in my field. Don't go to anyone else's field. I want you right here. So ladies, pay attention to that. So not only position yourself, but also don't pursue. It is not your responsibility to pursue a man. It goes against everything that God wants you to do. Even in nature, the sperm chases the egg, all right? So the moment you feel as though you have to start chasing a man, that's when it goes all against God's will. So please position yourself. However, do not pursue. So you may be wondering, okay, this is all nice. I put God first, all right? I'm working on my craft. I'm working on my dreams and goals. I'm positioning myself. When am I going to meet my Boaz? Well, this is a really interesting question. So when Ruth meets Boaz, she asks him, why have you found favor in me? Like, I'm a foreigner. I come from Moab. Like, why are you taking notice of me? And this is what he says. He says, may the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. So Boaz knows that Ruth has come from Moab, and she just completely abandons everything, and she puts her full trust in God, and she completely disregarded everything of her past and followed God and put all her trust in God. And just like I said before, when you put God first and when you trust God to be the leader and to direct your life, that's when blessings begin to unfold in your life. And that's exactly what happened to Ruth. And again, as I say, during your gift of singleness, understand that God is prepping you to be the woman that he's called you to be. So if Ruth stayed in Moab, she would have been unequally yoked with Boaz. Why? Because Boaz was a God-fearing man, and Ruth did not follow God. She wasn't a godly woman yet. And it wasn't until after she had her single season and until she finally put her trust in God that God groomed her to become the woman that God called her to be. So ladies, I encourage you to embrace this beautiful gift of singleness. It is truly a gift. Make sure that you're spending your time getting to know God, growing closer to God, and also getting to work. Focus on those goals, focus on those dreams. I'm sure there are so many things that you've always wanted to do and always wanted to see. And also realize that there is no man that is going to be able to fill a void in your heart. Only Jesus can do that, all right? So I encourage you to stop looking for attention from a male just because you feel lonely, all right? When you feel lonely, take advantage of God's presence and just be satisfied and be whole knowing that God is always with you and he will never leave you or forsake you. So I encourage you and I challenge you to trust in God, trust God to write your love story, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. All right? Well, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I will talk with you in the next video. Stay glamorous.